Welcome to the channel, welcome to the showroom of RPM Technik, which as always is filled with the most exquisite Porsche metal. Now, as good as all of these cars are, I'm not actually driving any of them today. I'm not actually driving a Porsche that's for sale even. It belongs to Darren, one of the directors, who's asked me to run an errand for him in his own car, a Porsche 991 GT3 RS MR. This one's going to be a fast run to the shops. The 991 GT3 RS is such a good car. I've got such an affinity with the 991.1 RS. I remember it new, driving it for the first time as a journalist. Those on my channel or regulars may remember my drive through the Alps in one last year, 3,000 miles in about 10 days. So these cars are firmly entrenched under my skin. The most popular GT3 RS ever made. They're also one of the cheapest, and currently one of these will set you back anywhere from about 130k. Exceptional value for money. But they're also now over 10 years old, and in Visac terms, in regards to development, that's quite a long time. In terms of the marketplace, a slight kick on, you'll find the 997.1 RS, then the 996 RS, the 997.2 RS. In terms of younger cars than the 991.1 RS, well, you've got the 991.2, and there's a real gap in values. There is a tweak to the aero and suspension on the .2, but the gap is a solid 30k more if you acquire a car with the Visac package on the .2. So it's a sizable and meaningful kick on if you want to move on from a .1 RS, but that doesn't need to be the case. If you want to improve or elevate the level of 911 performance, you could just turn to Manthey. And in case you don't know, Manthey is almost ubiquitous with Porsche these days. A racing team birthed on the Nordschleife really, and the godfather of Manthey, Olaf Manthey, race winner in Porsche 911s for decades in a number of different classes and indeed vintages. Latterly, Manthey Racing moved to sit a lot closer to Porsche. Porsche now owns a controlling stake in Manthey. I think it's 51%. So that means a couple of things. Porsche's factory GT racing team is run by Manthey, funded by Porsche, which allows the company to develop products for the road-based cars such as this. Any modern Porsche GT product you can acquire Manthey upgrades for. They can be fitted retrospectively, they come with a warranty, and crucially, fitting Manthey parts to your Porsche doesn't invalidate your Porsche warranty, which is massive, and in difference to any other product aftermarket really that you can hope to fit to your Porsche sports car. So these days the name Manthey should be on the radar of any Porsche enthusiast really. It'd be very difficult to have not heard of them. And while on a 992 RS a Manthey package is going to cost you just shy of 6 figures, on something like the 991 RS the full package, as here, is a comparative snip at around 20k plus VAT, but including fitting. As I mentioned earlier in the video, this car is the personal 911 of one of the RPM Technik directors, Darren. And it's fair to say this car is also a bit of a test bed for the company and the products, RPM Technik being the leading and also the longest serving, I might add, Manthey partner within the Porsche specialist sphere in the UK. So it's awesome and possibly inevitable that some of the products would end up on Darren's own car. And it is well used, I might add, as well. 20,000 miles on the clock. Only yesterday, Darren was with the rest of RPM Technik's Rush Drivers Club, attending a track day at Silverstone, hence the sticker above the sun visor on the outside here. Some other clues as to its use case is the camera mount, which is really twinned with the Garmin data logging, which again Darren and the rest of the Rush team use to analyse lap times as well as technique actually, hence the camera. So used as intended, and and evidenced by the fact when I got in the car, there was half a tank showing on the analog clock, but only 70 miles range remaining on the computer. So Mr. Anderson had doffed for the cap. So let's take a look at the Manthey kit in a bit more detail. It comes in 3 packages really. You can buy the packages in stages or in one go, it's totally up to you. The 3 packages, if you like, are aerodynamics, brakes and suspension. In terms of aerodynamics, you can see a couple of the aerodynamic addenda that the MR kit brings to the 991 GT3 Rennsport. Dive planes on the front of the car, and then on top of the rear wing you can see the gurney flap as well for a little bit more downforce. What you won't see are the aerodynamic changes to the underneath of the car, with particular reference to the rear diffuser. It's much larger, much more pronounced, goes basically a lot deeper under the car, right under the rear axle compared to the factory product. In addition to that, and I say in addition, you've got these beautiful carbon aero discs. They do fall outside of the aerodynamic package. They are heinously expensive at $4.5 grand, and you will need a wheel change because the aero discs really are reserved for the 991.2 generation GT3 RS. You can fit them to your .1, but you will need the .2 wheel, which has a slightly different spoke profile. As for the brake setup, RPM are trialling PFC brakes to complement the Manthey pads, as well as Manthey steel brake lines. Suspension comes in the form of either 3 or 4-way adjustable coilovers with bespoke new top mounts. And that is your Manthey package for the 991.1 GT3 RS. Now you don't have to buy the entire package, certainly not all in one go. And in fact, that's what Darren did with this car, was buy it in stages. The package is compelling. The suspension and geo gives a heady mix of precision, but also composure and compliancy on the road, which is very hard to do, very hard to do. The whole thesis and point of a Manthey kit, by the company's own admission, is to increase and focus performance. But I think it also works the other way as well. I think on the road here, which isn't home, I'm so impressed with how it responds and operates. It's very easy when you nudge up performance in a car to lose out. The caveat is you lose out at the other end. This isn't the case. There is a really aggressive geo on this, but in terms of damping, which I think is probably my main barometer here, it's absolutely fine. And if anything, it makes me even more curious to try the product on track, which, let's be honest, is its home. But on the road, which isn't its bread and butter, you would think, I've been impressed by it. The braking as well, I'm especially impressed with. Lots of feel, even on the road. I didn't expect to feel a difference. I thought I'd need a track for that. There was a lot more pedal feel than on a ceramic PCCB setup. Absolutely no question. That felt incredible through there. The aero discs are awesome. They are a lot of money though. Are they £4,400 awesome? That's up to you to decide, to be fair. They really invoke memories of proper Porsche race cars of the 80s and 90s. Porsche 935s and creamer cars. There's a lot of visual drama to it. You're only ever tickling this thing on the road. But what a thing. There is so much grip from those tyres. But again, the way this car is hugging the road, there's a nice finesse to the way it drives. Oh, that feels sensational. I think in conclusion with the Manthey stuff, you either get it or you don't. It's been a really interesting exercise driving this car, having had such experience in the factory GT3 RS before, the factory equivalent. And what I'm really impressed with, aside from what is a very clear step up in performance, is it doesn't come at a cost at the other end of being practical. So that's a bit of a look in to the Manthey kit, the Manthey product. It's nice to not see it on something brand new, a new RS. I mean, let's face it, the car's so capable anyway, that 992. I think this is more of a realistic proposition to elevate the performance, exactly the SP of what Manthey are trying to do, for a car that you may have owned for a while, dearly adore, don't particularly wish to get rid of it, but would like to squeeze a little bit more out of it. It's definitely a viable proposition, and more so for more people at the price bracket it sits in than any of the products for the brand new cars.